Hello, this is the fishing bag. Welcome to our channel. This video is about us. In the third episode of the economic downturn, the retraining of entrepreneurs. The first two videos, we and you introduced the current economic situation. Entrepreneurs need to practice a background. And the pressures our entrepreneurs are under in the process of doing business. Includes both pressures from the company or career. It also includes stress at home. At the same time, we also from the international and domestic 2 points of view respectively. The first 3 points of pressure from your company or career. Let's start with a brief review of the title. If this is your first time watching our show, or this series, it doesn't matter, the end of the film we will put the content of these 3 episodes to do a whole comb. The first point, looking at the world, our entrepreneurs, in the face of risk, lack of a bit of international vision and thinking. The second point, looking at the domestic, the government's policy has its starting point and its foothold. For us, cannot go against the trend, can only take advantage of it. Third, when we are faced with both credit difficulties and price inflation, how to rethink new business models. Let's look at number 4 in this video. When we found that because of too fast expansion, resulting in a drop in profits. As entrepreneurs, how should we reflect? In the face of this, we are in the midst of an economic downturn. We advocate that enterprises should cut, abandon, leave. Say to cut away, many friends know. It was published in Japan 10 years ago and introduced to China a few years ago. It is mainly to advocate for everyone. With the perspective of subtraction, to look at things. With the thinking of subtraction, to judge the situation. With the action of subtraction, to solve the problem. Ultimately, it makes our life easier and more enjoyable. Since life is more relaxed. That life in question. It's not just about staying. Treat things with methodological significance. And in making friends, doing things, and even running a business. It can also have methodological significance. In this program, we will talk about how to implement enterprise management to cut, to abandon, leave. Because of our fourth point today. It's about expanding too fast, and profits are falling. As an entrepreneur, how should I reflect? So, let's start with too fast expansion and talk about. We have mentioned in the first episode of the film, do business. It should be repeated at least once every 3 years or 5 years. But a lot of companies are expanding too fast, and we've discovered one thing. When you have 20 or even 30 branches across the country, do you know what will happen? Is the first 7 or the top 10 outlets or branches more profitable? The middle of 7 or 10 to maintain a balance, basically do not earn nor lose. The last 7 or 10 are losing money all the time. The result is the first 7 or 10 has been feeding the next 7 or 10. Do you agree with this phenomenon? Or if you think about it, which company is in country C? Is the branch more open month more open, more make money? In fact, very little, most are not behind the money. Then why does everyone have to drive like this? We mentioned a little before, I wonder if you still remember? In our traditional thinking, the company is to do bigger and stronger. Staff is to be more, market coverage is to be broad. The result was this. This ideology, in fact, affects us very much. Because of the traditional thought, agricultural thought far more than industrial thought. Besides, how many entrepreneurs in C countries know what real industrial production is? Most are rich, whether to maintain or increase in value. Or to reflect personal value. To start a company and start feeling for the stones. So the company did. In fact, thought in the past hired to repossess the land. Market busking, no difference. Most collaborations are temporary and one-time events. It's like, as our old saying goes, from the south to the north. Changsha, Hegang. Those who walk on the street or go to the market. $2, you can't buy a loss, you can't buy a trap. You see, I play a new pattern. I turn the Pearl River waves. Barabara, it means a seller. From Changsha to Hegang. Customers inside both walk the street, there are also shopping in the market. It's only $2 a visit. Don't buy to lose. You see me play tricks. So, the management of enterprises. If also follows such ideas, such an expansion. Finally, who is not also who has the money to join? Can anyone join me if they can help me sell my stuff? Do you think each branch of such an enterprise will be in step? Can we call it a group? Encounter risks, will share the wind and rain? To make it bigger, we are like McDonald's and KFC. management level of international fast food chains. In fact, the difference is huge. With Foxconn's level of military management, it is difficult for us to achieve. Not to mention compared with the likes of Toyota and BMW. By contrast, let's look at a tiny country in the Middle East, Israel. Every company in Israel is small. There are no big companies in Israel. Because the Jews didn't think it was necessary to make the company so big, it wasn't necessary. In their opinion, small but fine and beautiful and valuable is the most important. Their companies are small, but many of them are innovative. As a result, there are 3,000 to 4,000 innovations a year. The real innovation came out of things. A sale can be sold for hundreds of millions of dollars. That's not possible. So what the Jews think and what we think? It's completely different. Because of the East and West thought culture, there are some differences. So, enterprise management can also reflect incisively and vividly. If you go to Israel, you will not see companies like Alibaba and Taobao. Israel is not the whole country of express delivery. They agree that this is not necessary. Of course, different countries have different national conditions, so we have to explain it this way. What's more, the company is so big, but also do not make money, it is more unnecessary. But from a scientific point of view and a management point of view, the company has been unlimited big, in fact, is meaningless. That's the size of Apple's headquarters. That's the size of Nokia's headquarters. Are their own products sold all over the world? Can you say that Apple and Nokia were not successful before? That's it. So do the idea of the enterprise. It should be a small start, slowly do steady, and then strong. Make it bigger when necessary, and finally do the business last. Let's repeat that. So do the idea of the enterprise. Should be a small start, slowly do steady, and then make it strong. Make it bigger when necessary, and finally do the business last. In a word, enterprise's development should be small and stable and strong and big and long. This part will also be taken out separately in the future, and then the in-depth exchange of views with you, in the midst of the economic downturn. We briefly mentioned that support is enough. Next, how should we respond to falling profits? The reason for the decline in profits, according to authoritative research. The truth is that costs and expenses are rising much faster than benefits. That's it. Costs and expenses are rising much faster than revenues. That is, revenue is growing much faster than costs. Revenue, it's a slow parabola. And costs and expenses, it's a positive monotonic curve. And the slope is relatively large. When costs and expenses have not reached the inflection point. If revenue has not reached a peak, costs and expenses intersect with it. That means we are now in a situation where we can't make or lose money. Further development, the cost will be higher and higher. What does this mean when costs are already twice revenue? That is, you've already lost 50% of your money, but you haven't started making money yet. What happens after that? Gentlemen, this must not be your first time in business. In this world, you are not just contacting. You have seen too many cases, there are too many enterprises around, really do not feel it? So, we also found it strange. In mainland China, many people are reading, and many are observing. A lot of enterprises are engaged in consulting, a lot of people are promoting development. A lot of people are in business. A lot of people are thinking and meeting constantly. But their thinking seems to be the same forever. It is also hard for us to understand why this has been the case. We have worked with thousands of business owners and managers. I found that in addition to foreign companies, those central enterprises, state-owned enterprises too much thought, are not very willing to change. There are private enterprises and those so-called township enterprises, not to mention. But they often have lessons, and they often ask questions. They also often buy books to read. They also often participate in forums. He often attends seminars, but when he goes back, how to do is the original approach. So, in the final analysis, it's that thought that controls it. With all that said, let's talk about our suggestions. Entrepreneurs also want to cut, to abandon, to leave. This is a prevalent word in the last 2 years. We use it today, not in life or material things. But on the business operation, what does this mean? The first to cut refers to the career level. The second shed refers to the dot level. The third separation refers to the product level. So, to cut, abandon, leave refers to or not the same. First, the hyphenation. What is to cutting? If you have 3, 5, or more in your own business, there must be some relatively good, relatively poor some. You'd better arrange them in a row. If not, take them off. One man's career, we usually say, is 3 at most. Because a person's energy, after all, is limited. If you can manage many careers at the same time, and I hope all of them develop well. In addition to capital, it is necessary to have a forward-looking vision pattern and an unbreakable innovation and execution team. These 4 points, many people are not easy to have. There will be some cause to do well. Some do not very well. The good saves the bad, and in the end, it becomes all bad. So, if you do 5 businesses, we recommend you just take away the 2 that are not so good. If you can't bear to part with them, pick 3 and put them in an important place. The other 2 are of secondary importance. Or outsource these 2 less important tasks. Or sell it at a good price. Because, to the economy under the period, capital, cash flow is particularly important. Keep the ones that make money and the ones that don't. At least don't let it keep losing money. Because everyone, it is impossible to know everything. Of course, some people do very well, do a lot of business. Then we must keep an eye on him. Is there money? Is there any technology? Is there talent in the team? Otherwise, it is likely to be fooling around. The result will not be too good. This is what we mean by hyphenation. Put the development of not so good business as second priority, or sell. Free up more energy to focus on a career that's doing well. Finished, followed by saying to abandon and to leave these 2 words. What is the meaning? The first to cut is on the career level. The second shed refers to the dot level. The third is the product level. To cut is to take away the cause of not making money. To abandon is not good to do the dot minus. Leave is to eliminate the products that do not sell well. If the first to cut, not easy. That is the priority from the to abandon and to leave the beginning to consider. To abandon is to reduce the bad dot. This part was introduced when we expanded above. The more branches we open, the more money we make. In fact, not much, most are not very profitable behind. So, some of the poor scores of outlets during the economic downturn. We can't help it. To survive and develop in the future, we should turn it off. So about the product, in fact, also more obvious. Products that don't make money, in terms of production, there are at least 4 problems. It is a large backlog of raw materials. Second, the product insurance rate is poor. 3 is the warehouse utilization rate is low. 4 is the poor capital cash flow. Besides, it is difficult to sell from the perspective of research and development. Through some cases, to see what kind of inspiration. The mainland has a website called Nettie's. There are very few people who do not know. Nettie's boss Ding Lei said 2 words, should be some help to everyone. Let's borrow it. The first sentence, do not do false innovation, do not do false innovation every day. The mainland is very fond of innovation, every day in the speculation concept. But really on the concept can speak, and very few. Too much innovation is about subsidies. The previous years of photovoltaic industry support to the recent new energy subsidies. In the end, Jinlong auto fraud to cover the gate of the exposure. We are not difficult to find a lot of problems in which. Can you think about it? When the early shop, Ant and you talk about how to lay out blockchain. Do you think this question is an exaggeration? The Ant who sells breakfast. If you can really get your ingredients right, have a good breakfast, and keep the taste good, it's not easy. She's even considering blockchain. It's really we need to know how many people in Europe and the United States have never heard of blockchain. How many people don't know? Our early shop actually began to study how to lay out blockchain. That's really too much. I finished saying false innovation. That's exactly what true innovation is. We'll get to that later. First, take a look at Ding Lei said the second sentence. The time window, he says, is a false proposition. The window of time. As time goes by, the opportunity is gone. I thought we said that before. The opportunity is always there. We can't think of it. And one of our least favorite sayings is that, pig standing in the wind hole will be blown up. Because it is fundamentally false, is misleading. If we can, we get 10 pigs and put them in the air outlet. 9 were all killed by falling, and 1 was only scared to death. In fact, pig standing in the wind tire is not up. this sentence a long time ago, the millet that Lei Jun never quoted. Tencent's Ma Huiting later stood up and said that this sentence is meaningless. This kind of words doesn't talk nonsense, not what pig standing in the wind out let all blow up. The pig doesn't wear a parachute. If the pig does not carry a paraglider. If the pig doesn't wear a wind mask. We don't believe it can play very well. It can blow. So, the time window is a false proposition. Don't rush to go public. Don't rush to invest. Don't be in a hurry to open up your second career. That's not how you do business. Paolo Aversa of City University in London, United Kingdom, with colleagues. More than 300 Formula One racing cars, F1, have been recorded for 30 years. That's our F1. A comparison between innovation and competition results. They found that in some cases, in fact, the more innovation, the performance is worse. Their conclusion is that sometimes, less innovation is better. The UK is a very innovative country in the world. Nobel Prize winners, ranked among the top 3 in the world. The United Kingdom is really a great country. Sometimes, it is better to be less innovative. Do you still remember OFO? It is said to be one of the 4 great inventions of the world. As a result, OFO's CEO, David, was added to the list of broken promises. Limit travel and spending. It's not just for innovation, it's just a concept. The result is wasted energy, wasted land. The biggest problem is much more than that. Too many people start to imitate. Find a profitable project. Just a bunch of people came out. In the end, we are not just killing the goose that lays the golden egg. Hurt not only everyone's feelings, but also destroy the market order. A lot of people are actually familiar with this idea. Learn more about this pattern. If you have a business on the mainland, you should understand this model. Or to know is first from the concept of speculation, and then began to do PPT. Followed by roadshow circle fans, and then do the private placement. The last is to start crowdfunding. The last is on the new third board. The purpose is a circle of money. The final result is bankruptcy, since, really, the continental model is all too common. This pattern, to the end, is a mess, a scene. I hope your business is not like this. I hope we're just saying something here. That's unlikely to happen. Well, that's it, because of the pressure that businesses and careers bring to entrepreneurs. We are done as a whole, this episode more content. We've joined the first 3 points of the last 2 episodes. And we have a brief review. In the first episode, we come up with first point. Look around the world, our entrepreneurs. In the face of risk, lack of a bit of international vision and thinking. Second point. Look at the domestic, the government's policy has its starting point and its foothold, cannot go against the trend, can only take advantage of. From the international and domestic 2 perspectives, respectively, do a comparative analysis in the basic introduction. In the last episode in this video, according to specific circumstances, we respectively, from loan difficulties, price inflation, expansion too fast, profit decline in 4 aspects. Respectively, with the third point and the fourth point, guide how we should reflect. Third, in the face of loan difficulties and price inflation, how should entrepreneurs reflect? First, we put forward, in the face of loan difficulties, money can be hard to earn and give back. Better not to borrow or lend. Second, in the face of price inflation, we say, if the cost continues to increase, we should find a place with lower prices to do contract work or outsourcing. At the same time, to reduce costs, improve some of your benefits and competitiveness. Fourth, in the face of too fast expansion, profit declines under the circumstances. We first put forward the idea of doing business. It should be a small start. Slowly steady, then strong. Make it bigger when necessary. Finally is the enterprise to do lasting. Also, we think, to achieve small, and fine and beautiful and valuable is the most important. Second, face us out. Entrepreneurs in the enterprise management of the to cut, to abandon, to leave. To cut is not too profitable business to cut. She is not very good to do the network close. To leave is to let go of products that are not so marketable. Finally, we use Ding Lei's words to give you 2 points of inspiration. The first sentence, do not do false innovation, do not do false innovation every day. There is always an opportunity. There is no such thing as a time window. This is a false proposition. Okay, that's all we have. I did a basic comb, Hope to have some inspiration for you. That's it for this episode. In the next video, we'll begin the second part of the first section. Family pressure on entrepreneurs. If you have something to gain from the content, please thumb up, subscribe and share. Here is the fishing bag. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video.